Now, here's something interesting. A couple of years ago when I started this channel, I ranked my favorite Phil Collins albums, and I actually put Hello, I Must Be Going embarrassingly low on that list. I got to redo that list because when I did that, I had my reasons. And here's what I want to talk about today as we talk about I Don't Care Anymore. And by the way, I am flipped my opinions all the way around. But the reason why I kind of went down that road was because I always saw Hello, I Must Be Going as this kind of face value 2.0 or face value 2. And one of the reasons for that opinion was feeling like I Don't Care Anymore was just some sort of copy of In the Air Tonight, which there are a lot of similarities we'll discuss. But anyway, I just want to say that like when I posted that list many, many years ago when I started this channel, a lot of people got after me and was like, oh, Hello, I Must Be Going is my favorite album. And so I was like, what am I missing? And it turns out I was missing a lot, and I had put it in a box, you know, and I had thought of it as a certain, having a certain sound. It was sort of less exciting than albums like No Jacket Required. But seriously, from just like an upbeat standpoint, it is a bit of a darker album. But I've really come around on it. The other thing I love so much about Hello, I Must Be Going, also true for Face Value, but I think even more true for Hello, I Must Be Going is the sonic quality, the audio quality. I'm convinced, especially on vinyl, that the best sounding records happened around this like 81, 82, 83. Like, I think that like Abacab Shapes, I have a copy of Shapes that sounds unbelievable. And I think Hello, I Must Be Going is Phil's best recorded record. And then I think, you know, I don't know if it was just like the, you know, bringing in digital sounds and some other things that things changed, but the sound of Hello, I Must Be Going is incredible. And we're going to talk about the sound of I Don't Care Anymore because there's some really cool production tricks happening there. I want to show you what I got though. I have this, which you guys are probably familiar with. This is the I Don't Care Anymore single from 1982 Atlantic Recordings with the West Side on the second side, the West Side on the B side. So this is just, they made a red version, which is cool. Very cool. This is something I'm quite proud of. I mean, it's nothing special. You guys all have this. It was just like a mint condition, original pressing, Canadian pressing that I found recently at a record store. And I was really happy because the sleeve is like maybe not mint, but the vinyl is so good. And so I've been listening to that copy a lot and I really enjoyed it. And then one of the 2016 reissues that I never got around to getting was this one. Like I said, it wasn't my favorite record and these were so expensive. It wasn't totally hard to find. And so I was quick to get stuff like Both Sides and Dance and Testify that were like much harder to find on vinyl. And so I kind of never took much time to get Hello, I Must Be Going. And I recently found it used in excellent condition in a record store, still like about $35. So it wasn't really a great used price in my opinion. But I will say, I love the 2016 remasters or 2015, the audio quality. And again, it's this record. It's like, you know, songs like I Cannot Believe It's True, It Don't Matter to Me, The West Side, and I Don't Care Anymore that sound especially good on vinyl. And on the new, anyway, so I have a lot of ways to listen to this song and listen to this album. And I've just come around on it. I mean, there's still moments that I'm not overly crazy about, like China, whatever. We're not going to talk about that record today. And what we're going to talk about is I Don't Care Anymore. And so this song opens up with a drum solo, but it's not a drum solo. And this is what I want to highlight about this song is I consider it to be a drum riff. In fact, I would say this is like a quintessential drumming Phil Collins song. Not in the sense that, wow, that's a great beat, because it's actually just like a bunch of flams around the kit. It's like classic Phil. But it's not very difficult. In the same way that the In the Air Tonight Phil is not difficult to play. It's much harder to play like It Don't Matter to Me or The West Side or whatever. But what's cool about this is it sounds like a guitar riff. You know, it's like Phil is a musician, right? He's a drummer. Now he's a songwriter. Now he's a solo singer-songwriter. Usually those guys stand with their acoustic guitars or with their pianos. So what does Phil do? I feel like this bum, 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 bum is like, it's like a guitar riff. It's like a keyboard riff that Tony Banks would do because it's on a loop. It's not this fill that happens every 4 bars. It's just on this loop that goes around and around. And we don't really need it to keep the beat. It's not really keeping the beat I guess it's keeping the beat in the same way that like the down, you know, the Throwing It All Away riff, is that keeping the beat? Sure, you could keep the beat to that riff, But that's to me what it's like. It's like a loop. And I just think this shows Phil being a solo artist and saying, I'm going to make a song on drums, as if drums are my acoustic guitar or drums are my piano. So that's what I think about when I hear that Phil. I do think of the similarities between this and In the Air Tonight, which we should talk about. What are the similarities? Okay, well, they're first the opening track. They're also about his divorce. One of them is kind of like feeling like the divorce is imminent and something's about to happen and he's angry. And the I Don't Care Anymore is him kind of being like, I'm over it. I've moved on. So they're kind of like chapter 1, chapter 2 of that story. They're both very angry and ominous. They both are very kind of drum centric, but with like a Prophet pad in the background, electric guitar, somewhat minimal. So a lot of similarities there. And then they also feature like a very prominent 1980s Phil Collins toms sound. And so that's, and again, if we want to talk about like ripping off In the Air Tonight, he does that way more on Through These Walls, which I think is a mistake, but whatever. He's admitted to that. I don't think that the I Don't Care Anymore is a ripoff of In the Air Tonight. I think if anything, it was probably like maybe just a little bit too similar to the way he did his first record. And that's always been a little bit of my complaint of Hello, I Must Be Going. It always felt just a little bit like here's a kind of mixtape model that worked on face value. Let's do it again. I mean, and the thing is that does work. Most fans don't want, we know this, most fans don't want their artists to evolve sonically. They want them to keep making the same music that they love over and over. We know that's ultimately not true. That's like the dog chasing the car, because like fans do want that music to change. I think if they did get, if Genesis fans got Foxtrot over and over and over and over again for the next 30 years, that their complaints would probably begin. But he's copying this template of face value, and it's working. It's fine. It works. I mean, there was a question of why wasn't this the lead single, and maybe it was too close to In the Air Tonight. Maybe that was a consideration. But they went with Through These Walls, I believe, was the first single. Am I right? I think it's Through These Walls, and then well, let's check. Let me check. Okay, yeah, Through These Walls, You Can't Hurry Love, I Don't Care Anymore, Don't Let Them Steal Your Heart Away, I Cannot Believe It's True. I think like the big singles were Through These Walls, You Can't Hurry Love, I Don't Care Anymore, Don't Let Them Steal Your Heart Away, ish. So released in February of 1983 with the B-side, The West Side, as I mentioned, produced by Hugh Padgham. It went to number 39 on the Billboard Hot 100, a moderate US hit. It didn't get a UK release, but it was released as a third single in other countries. Oh, the song earned Collins his first Grammy nomination for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance, which was won by Michael Jackson's Beat It. So that's cool. This lost to Beat It. Mo Foster on bass, Daryl on guitar. Now, I believe also this song opened up the Both Sides tour. Now, it also may have opened up the No Jacket Required tour. Yeah, I believe it did. Not the DVD, but the actual tour itself. It wasn't played very often on the Serious Hits tour, if at all. We didn't get to hear it very much after that. Both Sides, he did, I believe he opened it up when he played on that kind of garbage cam set, I believe. Okay, one other thing I want to talk about this song. I can't play clips on here legally. I can't play clips. So I always encourage you to be listening to this song on your CD player or on Spotify or whatever on the turntable while watching these videos on repeat all day long, every day. Thank you. One of the things I love about this from a production standpoint is these big, huge, I won't say stone room, but wherever this was recorded, these big, huge toms that open up. And then as the vocals come in, things get, the gated reverb is brought down, right? And so it must have been that, I don't know if at the time, was it that machine? What's the name of that machine? Anyway, like how they bring that down in the mix, and then the toms become incredibly dry and his vocals become incredibly dry. And then towards the end of the song, the drums are brought back up. There is so much, if you listen to this song from a drumming standpoint, Phil is using drums in the same way that most 80s musicians and prog musicians would use keyboards to layer and layer, or the way Tony would use keyboards and guitars to layer and layer. But here he's using drums because as the song gets bigger, once we hit the bridge, he's bringing in a snare and a tambourine to make the sound a bit bigger. And then I think he brings in a second drum kit where he's playing the toms again, but he's hitting a snare this time. The reverb is opened up as wide as possible. And then as the song ends, very much like the way that the carousel closed at the end of the Serious Hits tour, the reverb would come back down to where the toms are as absolute driest as you could ever imagine, and his vocals are drier and drier and drier. Anyway, very cool effect, and you know, it took me kind of years to really notice that. I'm listening and I'm going, wow, these drums sound really cool. Where'd the reverb go? Like you could just feel it slowly swallowing up. So that was a really cool trick. What do you guys think of this song, In the Air Tonight? Or that was a Freudian slip. I don't care anymore. I think that this is probably a song that's most loved by most fans. I would say it's probably his most underappreciated single, because like when you download these, when you buy the greatest hits CDs and the, you know, the big compilation records, I think when he did the big like 4-disc or 5-disc singles, he did include this song. That was on there, but like as a single, it's been kind of underappreciated. People think of it more as a deep cut, but it was one of his songs, and a little bit of a hit. Yet because it's kind of dark and ominous, and from an album that isn't one of his bigger records, I feel like it kind of is underappreciated. So let me know in the comments what you think of this song. Do you like this song? What do you like about this song? Do you think that it is a little bit too close to In the Air Tonight, especially being the album opener? Do you think it was just a little bit stealing a little bit too much from himself? I don't know. You let me know. I don't think so. I don't really have a problem with it. I do have a problem with the da-da and through these walls. That is a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, I dig this tune. And from a production standpoint, that reverb thing, the recording quality of Hello, I Must Be Going, all of these things, I love it so much. Did you guys ever get a chance to hear it live? And where did you hear it? Thanks for watching.